What I found interesting was that Esther married a man that she did not know, have never seen before. She wrote letters to him. She didn't really write letters because she couldn't read or write, but she had other people write them for her. And she married him right away when he came to America, which was not a good idea because he was not a good guy. Also found it strange that Mrs. Van Buren kissed Esther out of nowhere. As for values, marriage was an important value. Esther had a lot of hope in her husband that he would be faithful, even though he wasn't. She kept trying, gave him money, just tried everything. Mrs. Dixon also valued her marriage, even though her husband was an opiate addict. She did not want to live like her mother did. Mrs. Van Buren also stayed with her man, even though he wasn't faithful, and he took a random trip for business to Europe. Um, Another value is hope. Esther hoped that one day she would open up a beauty parlor, even though Mamie thought it was funny. Another time hope was represented was when she hoped her husband wasn't going to cheat on her, and she gave him that money so he could buy the horses and get them rich. Like nothing was going to happen, but she really hoped that he wouldn't stick with his words and make their marriage work. Words I didn't know was a wallflower, and that means someone who doesn't have anyone to dance with at party feels shy and awkward. And this makes sense because Esther didn't want to go to Miss May's party, her wedding, I should say, because she didn't want to dance with Mr. Charles. She called him really fat, and she just didn't want to get with him. As for diversity, Lynn Nottage want to see how African Americans were treated poorly, how Mr. Armstrong, he tried to get a job and he was more qualified. He worked on the Panama Canal, but he was unable to get that job because of the color of his skin. Stereotypes still exist for a lot of groups today. What determines if they hold up is if people take them as true and embrace them. If you don't, they will slowly die off, but it'll take a lot of time. And for specific examples that how our society is affected by stereotypes is we learned in sociology that people with more Afrocentric features receive harsher criminal sentencing for the same punishments, say for the same crimes that other people commit, which is messed up because you're being judged based off of look, not crime. As for questions, do you think Esther will divorce George Armstrong for Mr. Marks, the guy that has all those fabrics? And also, what do you think will Esther do with her future now that she is moving back into that apartment that Mrs. Dixon owns? So yeah.